Welcome everybody to Pinfalls and Passports. My name is Daddy Dom, and for those who don't already know, this is a podcast for people just like you who love the sport of professional wrestling, and for members of our WWE community Discord to keep us entertained and engaged during the year leading up to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Now, every episode is filled with a variety of wrestling travel tips, all the latest news, recaps, rumors from the world of professional wrestling, and a cast of amazing characters that make our community over on the Discord so great. So, if you are not a member of the WWE Travel Community Discord, come join one of the fastest growing pro wrestling communities online. You can find the Discord invite link in our podcast bio. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports. Yes, we finally have an Instagram mirror. We have our own one. We're not relying on Danny anymore. But there is another Instagram, should I say, as well, at Mania Travel Discord. If you want to follow the Instagram for the Discord group. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about AEW's latest annual trip across the pond for their Forbidden Door show this year, which I was lucky enough to be in attendance for. And today, I'm joined by my co-host Mirah. And I believe you've had a couple of busy days as well, Mirah. Why don't you tell our listeners what you've been up to?
Hello, everyone. And I have been busy. So AEW has a 3-week residency at 2300 Arena in Philly, and I've gone to their first 2 shows. I went to the Dynamite this past Wednesday, and I went to their ROH pay-per-view last night, which was amazing. Had a great time, and I'll be there 3 more times. But we'll get into all of that.
Also, I didn't realize it was an RH pay-per-view last night, was it?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will talk a little bit about that as well. I'll be honest, I have not watched ROH in quite a while, but obviously, there's quite a bit of crossover in there with the AEW guys. But yeah, let's crack on and let's recap AEW Forbidden Door, because I want to hear your perspective as someone that was obviously watching on telly. Obviously, I was there at the O2, and what an awesome weekend that was. Now, obviously, here in the UK, we're accustomed to, the biggest stage. We're accustomed to Wembley Stadium. So the only 2 times I've been to see AEW has been at Wembley Stadium, at All In 1 and All In 2, where you were there also, Mirah, last year. So it made a nice change to have something a little bit different, bit of a different show. Obviously, we know All In was at Texas a few weeks ago. They are bringing All In back to Wembley, back to its home, for their WrestleMania next year. So I'm looking forward to that. But it was good. It was cool. It was nice to get that sort of arena feel. I do love the stadium shows, but there is something about watching wrestling in that sort of arena environment, especially when it's a big show in the UK. You know what those audiences are going to be like. Yeah, absolutely great. And great news for AEW is that they did sell out the arena as well.
They sure did. They sure did.
Proudly boasting a record crowd for wrestling at London's O2 Arena of 18,992 people. A new pro wrestling attendance record for the venue. So they say. Now, I've got to be honest. I'm a little bit dubious of this because I was looking at the tickets and how many were available right before on WrestleTix. Now, I don't know how accurate necessarily WrestleTix is, but it was always like that. They said it was sort of set up for, even the day before, I think it was set up for 17,800 or something like that, and there were like 150 tickets remaining, right, pretty much just before the show. So no surprise that they sold out. That's fine. Not saying they didn't sell out. It certainly looked sold out. I didn't see an empty seat in the place, but 18,992 seems a lot larger than 17,000 and whatever it was that they said they were sort of set up for. I did a little look because I know what, obviously, the only other big, obviously WWE have their sort of live shows there, but the only other big main event had there was a few years ago that I went to, which was WWE's Money in the Bank.
Okay, I figured that's what it
Um,
was.
yeah. So it was going up. They were saying they beat Money in the Bank basically.
That's all.
O2 isn't the oldest arena in the world either, so it hasn't really had that many wrestling shows. But anyway, so I had a look. What was Money in the Bank's attendance? And it was 18,885. So AEW claiming that they beat that record by 7 people. Now, look, I understand that WWE are also have done perhaps in the past to exaggerate some of their attendance figures, but I'm a little bit dubious that they beat WWE record there. I was there for Money in the Bank. I think there was the setup for Money in the Bank certainly allowed more seating. AEW had like the whole sort of top tier above the screen closed off, which would have certainly cut out some seating. Money in the Bank was done a bit differently. They did like a sort of side entrance type thing so they could get more people in those seats. So I am a little bit dubious about that. But hey, let's just hope Will Ospreay didn't get that tattoo. That's all I'm going to say. But I haven't heard anything about why that might be, anybody saying online that was exaggerated or anything, but it just seemed a bit ridiculous because I don't.
I'm just like, because I'm with you because I've only seen the 17,000 number, but I don't know. I'm gonna let them rock out. They're very proud of it.
17,000, 19,000, 2,000. I don't care. Forbidden Door was an awesome show.
Yeah.
Let's look at the highlights. Obviously, we had the lights out, unsanctioned steel cage match, which was almost not quite as brutal as I thought it was going to be, but brutal enough.
No, it was brutal enough.
Yeah, they could have taken it to another level, but there was quite a lot of people with injuries there. I'm glad they didn't. It was fine as it was. Thank you, Tony. That's enough violence. Plenty of violence. We don't need any more. And then we obviously saw at the end of that Ospreay written off when Moxley and the Death Riders attacked him. As I think we kind of predicted, most of the champions retained. We weren't expecting a lot of sort of title changes here, although the one that was perhaps didn't go to the team that we thought it would. So that was
Dork actually got that right.
Did he?
Dork, yeah, I think he got that right. He got it right.
Okay. Props to Dork Shop. At least he got that right, eh? Because I heard on his episode yesterday he thought that Forbidden Door happened in Manchester. So,
What's that?
But at least the no, Dork Shop, London. It's a big city in England. They're not the same place.
They're not.
Sorry. I know you can't use the North America. I know you North Americans aren't particularly strong on your geography. I apologize, Mirah. I know you're a well-traveled person. I'm not pointing the finger at you. But yeah, that was We'll move on. So we had 9 belts Monet. She has 9 now. So I presume she picked up that Scottish women's sheep throwing contest winning title the night before.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we had Jamie Hayter making a bit of a cameo return to a huge pop, saving Queen Aminata from the Triangle of Madness in what was, I don't know how it came across on TV.
Well, they were still fighting in the back. They were still fighting in the back.
Yeah.
They came out through the front. I was like, oh, they're still fighting? Okay, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a match this Wednesday. I thought it was, but I guess they may save it for this upcoming Wednesday, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. But yeah, lots of strong performances over the Forbidden Door weekend. Anyway, I think there was some great standout performances. I really think Queen Aminata is coming into her own at the moment. Yep. I'm really glad to see that. Triangle of Madness, man, they are really starting to find their feet. I think Julia Hart's great. I think she's got an awesome look. Sky Blue is phenomenal. She looks absolutely awesome. And just adding Thekla into that group now, they are looking very, very interesting. Let's start with the 0 Hour show. We'll go over that kind of briefly because there was 4 matches on the 0 Hour because we don't get enough wrestling on a normal AEW show. So there was 4. We started off with a multi-man tag, which had obviously Roddy Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, El Desperado, Paragon, Umera against Hechicero, Josh Alexander, and CRU. So that was fun. A good one to sort of warm up the crowd. The thing I love about the UK shows is they're all sitting down. Doesn't matter like whether it's a UFC event. When you watch a UFC event in the US, like nobody comes in until the main card, maybe until 3 matches before the end. Damn, no, they're sat down. We're getting our goddamn money's worth. We're gonna watch every single match,
start to finish.
Absolutely, even if it is a sort of 7-8 hour show. So,
yeah.
So that was cool. That was fun. And then we had Ricochet and the Gates of Agony against Jet Speed, so it was great to see them. Absolutely love Speedball Mike Bailey and Michael Oku, who, for those who don't know, is a bit of a sort of British legend, really, superstar. He's the hottest prospect on the UK indie scene. If anybody's seen his matches with Ospreay, especially his last one, for that Rev Pro Championship, that was absolutely incredible. He is a serious talent. Unfortunately, he was fed to the wolves. Oh my God. I thought they killed him when he sort of jumped up and he just got pushed out of the ring, like straight onto the floor. I was like, what the hell? I mean,
he bounced back. Like he seemed to be okay, but I'm like,
yeah.
Were you?
I mean, I've seen Oku take some bumps. Like that guy is bouncy. Like, I mean, if you watch that match with Ospreay that he had for the Rev Pro, that was absolutely brutal. The amount of times Ospreay dumped him just flat on his head and on his neck, it was kind of gross. So that guy can take a bump, but goodness me, did I think he took a few too many here.
Yeah, he took too many in my opinion. I'm like, that's 0 hour. This is not a main event. Yeah. This is not anything like that. This is just 0 hour, by the way.
Yeah. And then they made him take the pin. So just to top it all off. But great to see. He got an awesome reaction. AEW fans, one thing you can say about them for sure, they are knowledgeable wrestling fans. They know who's in the ring. They know who they're watching. If it's an indie star making debut, if it's somebody from perhaps a promotion they're not familiar with, they know. AEW fans are knowledgeable, and they certainly know who Michael Oku is. And he got a huge pop. So fair play to him, and I really hope we get to see a little bit more of him. Hopefully, in AEW.
I think we will. I think we might. Honestly.
Yeah. He put on a good performance. Then we had Triangle of Madness and Megan Bayne, which was awesome, defeating Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale. Megan Bayne just dominating pretty much everyone.
That's literally what she does. The pop Willow God was amazing, and I hope Tony Khan is listening, because Willow is a star. Chris Statlander is a star. Push these women.
This is the first time that I really think, because we've had complaints, haven't we, about how Tony's handled the women's division, but to be honest, it hasn't always been that filled with talent. There's been it was for a long time it was led by Britt Baker, who, no offense to Britt's great, I love her, but she's not a Charlotte Flair, she's not a Becky Lynch. She's never going to be able to sort of hold that torch and carry an entire division, But I do feel now they've got a really good, large group of very, very talented women. Some, which to their credit, they have brought up from within. And, Queen Aminata has been around for a while.
She's been around since like almost the start.
Pretty much. You're right. Yeah. And she was taking loss after loss after loss. I remember, she was just like the jobber, wasn't she, of the women's division? But she's really, really come on. I'll talk a little bit more about Queen Aminata in a bit, because the night before I went to Forbidden Door, we went to Eve Pro Wrestling, and she was wrestling there. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit and what the experience was there, because that was a really cool night. Finish off 0 Hour, we had the Trio Championships, the Ops, of course, Samoa Joe, Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs, defeating, well, what I would say was a nod to the Brits. We've got the Bullet Club War Dogs, which are the War Dogs faction, which kind of tend to appear a little bit more on sort of New Japan Strong
Yeah.
and Ring of Honor and that kind of things. But quite a few Brits in there, so they got good reaction because Driller Maloney, Dan Maloney, phew, I've been watching him for years. He's such a talent. Robbie X has been on the indie scene in the UK for years and years and years. One of the sort of best wrestlers around. I'm glad that he's finally getting noticed sort of overseas a little bit as well. So good for him, even though he probably is in the sort of twilight of his career. And I think it was Clark Connors. That was the other guy, isn't it? He's
Clark.
Yeah. But again, trios championship, they're not going anywhere sort of quite yet. So they stayed on with the Ops and Samoa Joe. Let's skip forward then to the main card. And to my surprise a little bit, we started off with the return of not Cope, Adam Copeland. Yes, because there was absolutely nothing wrong with that name in the first place. And looks like they're going to call him Adam Copeland from now on, which I think is a much better idea. And Christian Cage defeating Killswitch and Kip Sabian. Now, obviously, Killswitch, or Luchasaurus, as most of us sort of know him, and there's plenty of Luchasaurus chants sort of going around, was a late replacement because Nick Wayne obviously couldn't make the show. I guess he must have picked up a sort of injury or something like this. I don't think that was planned. I do feel that kind of took away a little bit from the match. I think it would have been better with Nick Wayne, especially with Nick Wayne's mum there, because why is Nick Wayne's mum there if it's Luchasaurus and and Kip Sabian? And Kip Sabian is just, I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to support the fellow Brits, aren't we? But he's just annoying, and not in a good way.
I feel like his time is like pretty much has passed in a sense. Not like in that's like in a wrestling sense, but the character. He needs a little revamping.
He does. He does. You know, he's a talented guy. Don't get me wrong.
Talented.
But Jesus. Yeah. But you know, we got it. We got the edge. We got the sing along. How did that come across?
That came across really well. Y'all did 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for that.
10 out of 10. I didn't expect anything less, honestly. Not gonna lie, but no, that was a good way to kick off the main card.
Yeah.
Kind of already knew the outcome of that one, but it was very nice to see it happen.
Yeah. And I think that's the same with a lot of the show. I think we could kind of work out the outcome of it. And I think that's kind of what's now taken a little bit of magic away from Forbidden Door a little bit, is that you kind of know what's going to happen. So the importance is really on sort of what you do in the matches. Now, we always know that AEW put on solid wrestling matches. They put on solid pay-per-views, but you've got to diversify a little bit, especially if you've got a really, really predictive card. I think they did that pretty well. I think they did okay, but it was a very predictable show. And of course, the reunited, first time in 10 years, I think they said, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage got the win over Killswitch and Kip Sabian. We had a little bit of a, because they've done this on the fly, haven't they? This kind of reunion. I think they rushed it, a bit of a rush job. I think there was more. I think I mentioned last week there was more storytelling to be done.
Yeah.
To sort of build this up a bit. Maybe they do it in the match. I'm not so sure they did do so much in the match, but we got a little bit of a hug at the end.
Right. I think honestly they tried to rush that storyline because of All Out that's upcoming, I felt like. And I'm like, we're missing some pieces, but it's like, all right, we wanted it, we got it. Let's see how they like ride through like the rest of the story. So
yeah. I mean, I don't see how long it's gonna last. I don't think it's gonna be a long-term thing. I think they're going to play it out. They're probably going to have a little run at the titles. They're going to have a couple of good feuds, and then they're probably going to break it off, and we'll probably get one more match between them, or maybe we won't even get that. Maybe they'll just go their separate ways. Who knows? And that's dependent on how Adam is health-wise as well, because I guess I understand his contract is coming up soon.
Hmm.
So whether he decides to renew with AEW, I guess he will. I kind of got a feeling that he probably will. I think he's enjoying himself.
I think he'll probably end in AEW.
His wrestling career, certainly,
Yeah, he'll end
certainly.
wrestling there.
Yeah, I think we'll see him back on WWE TV. I'm sure, because he'll want that Legends contract and individual Hall of Fame induction. Next match, Carl Fletcher, TNT Championship. Now this was a banger, right? I
This
think
this match on TV, I can only imagine how y'all was there. This match to me so like the show, in my opinion. Kyle, like I said before, Kyle is just he's at this point where he's got it. And he needs to just hold on to what he has and just keep perfecting it. Like
100%.
kid's a beast. He's a beast.
Yeah, how he has evolved, since his sort of Aussie Open days and all that, and how he's evolved now into this real, just contender and just incredible wrestling ability that he has, and to go at it with Takahashi, who is a legend himself, and real sort of strong style wrestling, and just to go sort of one on one and really not be led by him. Really, both of them just putting on top tier performances. Absolutely fast, crisp, explosive match. Loads of near falls. Like, you knew that Fletcher was going to win, of course, but it made it interesting. I thought that was awesome. And yeah, long reign ahead for Mr. Fletcher, I am sure. Let's get to the TBS Championship four-way match. Nine Belts
Money.
Monet had
Money.
some serious competition here.
She had to fight
Or,
some big girls. She had to fight some big girls and stuff.
so, so we had Alex Windsor, who
Mhm.
obviously we know has been quite prominent on AEW television recently, a fellow Brit as well. And for
Yes.
those not in the know, the partner of Mr. Will Ospreay, Persephone, and then Bazilla. What do we think of Bozilla?
I've seen a couple of her matches. I followed her briefly because she's so young. And I'm like, she's going with Mercedes, Alex Windsor, Persephone. I'm like, oh, if Tony don't sign her, I know somebody else that's trying to once her contract's up in Stardom. So I know. Listen,
That's exactly what I've got written down here. Like, Triple H is licking his lips
listen,
at
and
the
Tony
thought.
better get on it.
Oh my God, she is a beast. And I'll be honest, I wasn't that familiar with her, but I'd actually seen her wrestle the previous night. As I mentioned, I went to Pro Wrestling Eve down in London the night before Forbidden Door.
Hmm.
Now, anyone that doesn't know about Pro Wrestling Eve, they are certainly Europe's biggest women's only wrestling promotion, if not the world's women's only promotion. It is awesome. If you are ever in London and there's an Eve show on, I 100% recommend you go and check it out. We had an absolutely awesome night there. Bazilla was there, and obviously they got a few stars in because AEW are in town,
Hmm.
but that doesn't take away from what they normally do on their normal shows, because their roster and the women wrestlers in the UK and Europe, they've got the stack. There's so much sort of talent out there. I saw Bazilla for the first time live that night, and just her coming out in that mask with that
Yes.
smoke coming out, looking like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat
Hmm.
type sort of style, but just this absolute beast. You're like, and of course, this is an indie show, right? So we're in we're in a social club. We're in a big back room. It's not like I was sat at the back of the O2 Arena, so you can really appreciate how big these people are when you see them. As you know, when you're at a sort of smaller show, but when it's a big female wrestler, because that makes such a impact, because a lot of women's wrestlers tend to be sort of on the smaller side.
A
And then
petite.
when, yeah, they're quite petite, they're quite quite slim quite often, and then when you see just one that's not just wide but tall, muscular, awesome like look with this scary freaking mask. Oh my goodness me. Bazilla has the look, she has the talent. That girl is going places. She was
Yep.
awesome. But yeah, interesting. There was some other cool stuff that happened actually at Eve. Nyla Rose was in the main event
Right.
and she won the Eve Championship, beating the previous champion Nightshade in the main event. That was really awesome. I wouldn't say the match was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, but it was two very large units fighting each other. It was quite slow. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, but you
Right.
know the kind of match I'm talking about. But yeah, I wasn't expecting Nyla to pick up that title. I kind of thought, oh, she's coming through town, she'll find the champion, and then she'll just leave, and then she won. And goodness me, the reaction that she got was fantastic. The crowd are going
I'm
mad.
glad. I'm
Then
glad.
all the wrestlers came out, the production crew came out, and then they urged everybody to go to the front of the room. In fact, I'm going to put this video of this podcast on YouTube after this, and I'll put the video I've got of everybody sort of around the ring and tapping on the ring because everybody's going. She's getting serenaded in the ring, and it
I
was
love
awesome.
that.
It was really really cool moment. So really happy for Nyla Rose. She looked really really delighted to have picked up that title because I've not heard much of her
Yeah,
for
no.
quite a while. Really, hadn't really heard that what. I mean, I'm not saying she hasn't been doing anything. I just haven't heard of what she has been doing. But it was a bit of a surprise to see her there. And then she was attacked at the end by Rio, who is my favorite UK female wrestler, setting up the next match at the next Eve show because Rio previously in the night defeated Lucy Sky in a #1 contenders match. So that set that up nicely. But yeah, we had some AEW stars actually at the Eve show. We had Queen Aminata,
Mm-hmm.
who was wrestling. Goodness me, she's slender. I did not expect
Yes.
how slender she is. Goodness me.
But she's
Uh,
strong. She's
oh yeah,
strong. I seen her last night, and
yeah.
her hits are impactful. Like you're like, oh snap! Like she got some punch
Oh,
behind her. She got a pack behind her punch. So
and her match was brutal. Like she was thrown into the steps, she was thrown hard outside the ring, she was thrown into the crowd, she was thrown through the chairs in the crowd. Like she took an absolute vicious beating at this Eve show, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness me, if I'm like Tony Khan, I hope they've got a good relationship because I might not be happy if he had one of my talents doing this on an indie show the night before.
ex-
But goodness me, can she take it? But she can give it too. So, and she won. So that was good. We also had Julia Hart and Sky Blue were also
okay,
both wrestling on the card, which was cool. And then there was a really cool Eve International Championship match. Nina Samuels defeating Billy Starks. Oh, this was a Bazilla match. Bazilla, Rain Leverkusen, Trisha Dora from Ring of Honor. Great match. Really, really great match. And Nina Samuels coming out on top of that one. We also saw Millie McKenzie, which was great to see. That was who went up against Julia Hart and Sky Blue with Sapphire Reed. They lost, but Millie McKenzie, if you remember, she was on NXT UK. I've got one of the main sort of prospects that was coming out of NXT UK before. Unfortunately, they sort of just suddenly sort of stopped it. So it's great to see her in action. I see her quite regularly. And then we look at ringside and we notice there's somebody with a headset on, and they got the security thing on, and it's Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay worked the show,
he's quite a
which is
guy. Cause I went to Rev Pro last year, and he was also
yeah,
doing the same thing at Rev Pro.
yeah,
He was helping the talent last year. Like he was gathering their gear. Like he's like, if he's not on the show, he's going to be there helping in some
yeah,
capacity.
yeah, absolutely, love that. I did a little Google of it, like to see if like is that something he does regularly. And turns out he's one of the producers of the show as well.
Oh,
So
that's pretty
so that
cool.
was interesting. Yeah, yeah. And also my friend Vez, hi Vez, I know you're watching. She noticed Swerve at the show as well, hanging around the toilets. So stuck a little picture there. Not saying that you're hanging around the toilets, Vez, and taking pictures of men, but yeah. Anyway, she saw Swerve there, so that was cool. Anyway, back to Forbidden Door. We had the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship defended.
Hmm.
Zack Sabre Jr. against obviously the winner of the four-way, I think, who we all knew was going to be Nigel McGuinness. Look, I think this match was exactly what we expected it
Yeah.
to be. Technical masterclass. I loved the video package at the beginning with Nigel McGuinness and Johnny Saint playing chess and all that. What did you think of the match itself? How did it come across on TV?
I enjoyed it. Like, I knew Zach was going to retain. I already knew that. But I was like, what Nigel and him put together was great. It was like nostalgic because Nigel doesn't wrestle as much. So when he does wrestle, it's meaningful, it's impactful. It was super technical, is what I was expecting. And I'm glad that it happened. They both got a good reaction, especially Nigel. But I'm like, that was a great match to watch from home. That was one of the matches that just like got me like, okay, all right, we're almost like, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm like, I know he's not gonna win, but like there was the moments where you're like, wait, they may do it, they might do it.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? They made it
Yeah,
almost believable that you thought it might happen. I gotta say, I did feel a little bit for Zack Sabre Jr. because, you know, he's the IWGP champion. He's coming home to the UK, and he should have really got a hero's welcome. Now, I'm not saying he didn't get a big reaction, but this should have been his moment, right? For him to
yeah,
come back and get the hero's return. The only person they could have put him against that could have kind of made him sort of the bad guy of the situation, not give him that, was Nigel McGuinness, and that's exactly what they did.
yep. That's why I'm like, Nigel got more of a pop than Zach, but it's like it was still there. Like it was still there, but it's
It
just
was
like
still
it's
there.
Nigel. It was Nigel though.
Exactly. And like the majority of people wanted Nigel to win. And I think you always
Yes.
want to see a title change anyway, especially when
Hmm.
you know it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
so
Very
yeah, I
true.
kind of felt for Zach a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, he won as expected. Let's talk about this. Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to point on was Brian Danielson on commentary for that Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness
Yes,
match?
he was. Yes, he was. He was like, this is just gonna be very technical. Like he sounded very excited for it. He was there up until the main event because he had to leave.
Okay, so he did quite a bit of commentary on the show then.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure he was there basically the whole show.
Oh, cool. I will have to rewatch it. Right, let's get on to this tag team championship three-way match. Hurt Syndicate defending their titles in a three-way elimination match against Brodito and FTR. Now,
I don't think it was elimination. It was just a 3-way.
it was
think-
supposed to be an elimination match.
It was? Oh, they might have changed it then.
Now, well, for what I thought, right? So this is where I got really confused because, first of all, I hated the way they did this. Like, how are we going to protect the Hurt Syndicate from losing these titles? I tell you what, let's just freaking take them out of the match. There you go.
Gates of Agony and Ricochet.
Yeah,
Just come and get them. And...
Just come and get them and just carry them out.
Yeah.
Okay. But then,
Yeah.
The match went on just the two teams.
Right.
And then, of course, Brodito get the win. But I'm thinking, well, are Hurt Syndicate still in this? Because have they been eliminated? Because surely there can't be a count out in a three-way match. Like, what is going on here? I did not understand this.
I didn't
Maybe I've got
understand
this
that.
wrong. So I was kind of expecting like a 1, 2, 3, and then maybe Hurt Syndicate would like come back out again, and it just didn't. It was like, no, tag team champions. So maybe listeners, you can fill me in if I am wrong, but my understanding was this was an elimination match. Therefore, once one team is eliminated, it would have left the two teams to fight it out for the championship, except one of those teams got kidnapped, and then we had one fall to a finish, and that was crowning Brodito, which was absolutely the right thing to do, by the way. And
Yeah.
Dog Shop, you called it right.
Yeah.
They are hot. Strike while the iron is hot. Bandito and Brody King, awesome. I think they've got over really organically. Tag teams sort of out of nowhere, really, and have really, really got over. And yeah, the AEW, they're doing the right thing here. I don't think they'll have those titles for long, but sticking those titles on them, getting them on the big show, and Brody King, what a future he's
I
got,
think
I'm
that was a
sure.
good move. That was a good call for them. I think it could have been FTR, obviously, with the match that we have set up for All Out, but we'll talk about that later. But I feel like Bro Dito is a good pair that had the titles on. Going from the Hurt Syndicate, which is a heel tag team, to a babyface was what is needed right now. Let them
Yeah,
hold it for a little bit and then drop it to whoever. But I think for Brody King, this is a nice stepping stone for him to go on his own when it is time. Because if they
100%.
push him, that's it. That's it. The crowd is behind him already. So it's like, just give him a chance and I feel like he'll thrive.
Absolutely. I got a Brody King shirt actually in there, which I've had for about 7 years, and I've never worn it. So I'm looking forward to getting it back out one day. Right, next we had the Unified Championship match, Okada versus Strickland. We knew this was going to be a hell of a match. Two of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestlers, in
Yes.
AEW currently. I think Dorkchop mentioned that there was a little bit of concern around Swerve with an injury, the torn meniscus that he's had
Yes.
since 2019. That looked like that proved to be the case, because for me it looks like they've written him off for a while. Let's talk through the end of that match, and more importantly, what happened at the end of that match. The surprise, the shock, the return.
Of Wardlow.
Wardlow. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, so Wardlow returns at the end of this match to do more damage to an already stricken, excuse the pun, Swerve Strickland, who has already had his leg put in the steel steps by Okada
multiple
after
times.
multiple times.
Multiple times. Damn.
And then on top of that, Wardlow appears out of nowhere in the ring and has aligned himself with the Don Callis family, which I believe all you need to do these days is use code FAMILY at checkout,
Yes. Hmm.
and you are in the Don Callis family. And now Wardlow has joined the family. I am hoping we get a portrait. But here he was. I feel he could have done more damage to Swerve. I feel like Okada did more damage to him afterwards than
I'm
than
like,
than, than he actually did.
I'm like, I feel like we need to figure out what Wardlow is going to do. And we'll get into the Dynamite even, but he didn't even like speak on the Dynamite either. So I'm like, we need something from him. And is he just the muscle? Is he like the Batista of the evolution? What's going on here? Like, what's the plan for him right now?
I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to be in the exact same situation they were with him before he was injured, not
That's what I think
knowing
too.
what to do with
That's
Wardlow.
that's my suspicion because I'm like, is he going to go after a title? Is he just going to be the beatdown? Is he going to turn on everyone? Like, what is the plan for him? Because everyone has belts or on their way to get belts.
Yeah, and it does feel a little bit like they don't have a plan for him, and that's why they're
Yep.
stuck him with the Don Callis family, because he sticks out like a sore thumb in an already eclectic bunch of individuals.
Don Callis, he's like, join me. I have the whole roster. I have half the roster behind me right now. Like they're very powerful at the moment. Don Callis is feeling himself. Like he's like, I've done something really great. So we'll see. We'll see.
Right, so we had three main events, basically, didn't we?
Hmm.
It was quite funny. Zane was sitting next to me. It was just before in fact, it was just towards the end of the Strickland match. He goes, how many matches are after this? I was like, 3. And he goes, oh, so it'd kind of be done like in like about 9:30 then. I'm like, dude,
No,
this is an AEW show. The last 3 matches are all in, took 2 hours and 40 minutes.
they sure did.
Yeah,
They
and
sure did.
you ain't leaving here before the very last minute, before
Mm-mm.
they're
Mm-mm.
literally the curfew of the venue. You are not going to be getting out. You are definitely not going to be leaving here at 9:30, brother.
Mm-mm.
So we had Timeless Tony Storm defending the Women's World Championship against the winner of the Gauntlet and the Ring of Honor Women's
Ever
Champion
champ.
Athena.
Forever champ.
Forever chat. How many days is it
Hmm.
now, Mara?
We are at, because she just won last night. She just returned last night. What is it? I want to say it's 9 Athena rain days.
We got to be, yeah, we got to be really close at 1,000,
We're
right?
really close to 1,000 days
That is
at rain.
insane.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's over 1,000. Has to be over 1,000.
We're over 1,000. There you go. We
Hmm.
are in Roman Reigns territory here with Athena. So was I the only one shocked that Athena did not take this title from Tony Storm? Because I was convinced that this was the belt that was changing hands at Forbidden Door. What are your thoughts?
I thought this was going to be the belt that changed hands. This is like, I was like, Tony's probably going to retain, right? I'm like, Tony's going to retain. But then I'm like, I'm seeing the match and knowing Athena's wrestling style. I'm like, you know, might take this. And it was a couple moments, more than a couple, where I was so enthralled in this match. And I'm like, she's going to take this belt from Tony. But it's not going to hurt Tony. Like it's like taking the belt off Tony doesn't hurt her. So I'm just like,
No.
"Mm, we could do it. We could pull the plug tonight, Tony." Like, Tony Khan, we can pull the plug. But they didn't. And I'm like, okay. And she cashed it in. So I'm like, what's next for her? Like, she's on ROH. She's been featured on AEW. Is she going to still go after the title? With her taking this loss, does she have to drop the ROH before she can even get to the AEW? Like, what is the plan? Like,
Yeah,
that's my
I'm
only
not
thing.
sure. I'm disappointed that Athena didn't win. I think
Same. Same.
I think it would have been good for her. I think it would be good for AEW. I think it would be good for Division. And as you said, Tony does not need this title at all. Tony would have built an incredible story about losing the title and build it all around this, having this huge sort of breakdown. He could have done a million and one things with
Mhm.
this. Look, maybe she'll get another attempt soon, and we
I
will
hope
see
so.
Athena hopefully crowned with, well, it will be that one, won't it? I guess with that women's championship. Let's hope that they get onto that before Monet gets hold of it, because
I Because I'm like, are we setting it up for it to be Athena and Monet? Is it going to be some type of triple threat? Because all three women are at the top of AEW's women's roster right now. So it's like,
absolutely.
what are we going to do? Like, what is it? And she's at 994 days. So she has one more week until she hits 1,000. 994. So I'm like, is it that she has to get to the 1,000 before she does anything else? Like, I don't know, but I'm very excited for her. Like, if they keep her momentum, which I think they will, it's gonna be a good time for her.
100%. So yeah, Storm taps out Athena with the TCM chicken wing submission move. TCM standing for Turner Classic Movies, which I love.
I like that though. I like that.
Yeah. Next up, we had the World Championship, the AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page against MJF. So we know that the stipulation of the DQ and the count out was removed prior to the match, but we also know that MJF still had his contract, so he didn't
Mhm.
have to sort of cash that in. He had his bag of tricks. He brought his clipboard to the ring. He did all the MJF dirty, funny,
Yeah. Yep.
evil Healy stuff. I thought it was a great match. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I seen him with the ring. I knew he was gonna take it out of his trunks. I knew somehow it's gonna be some type of shenanigans, the low blows, things of that nature. Very MJS-ish. So I'm like, it was a good match. It went over 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So they can
it
go.
felt like it.
I'm like, oh my, we're still going, huh? But I'm just like, okay. And at a point, I'm like, is MJF going to take it this soon off their Hangman? Like I had that, what if he does? Or if he doesn't, is he going to cash in immediately afterwards?
This is what I thought, you see. Exactly, yeah. Because I thought, like, because obviously he could still, like, lose on the DQ side of things. I thought, well, what if he, like, just batters Hangman, like, really? Because he pulled out that table, didn't he? And he did the... And then we still got the table spot, but nobody got DQ'd, so that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. People were confused on the internet. They was like, I thought this was a non-disqualification. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yes, but me, I don't consider tables to be as DQ unless it's a tabled match, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like,
Yeah,
I
so that was
enjoyed
funny.
it.
But I half expected, like, MJF to get disqualified, but then, like, beat down MJF and then do that contract, like, then
Like
cash
the
it in
cash
straight
in.
away on a stricken Adam Page, not to Adam Page, cash it in, pin him, and take it. They hinted at that multiple times through the match. That's exactly what they thought as they wanted us to think. In the end, what we got was actually Adam Page winning with some dirty tricks and picking up that clipboard and whacking it over the skull of MJF, followed up by a buckshot to close off the match and retain. And we remain in Cowboy time for a little bit longer.
Yep.
Moving on then to the main event. The lights out. Ladies and gentlemen, the lights will go out temporarily, but when they come back on, AEW will not be held responsible for any actions that happen. Like, oh yeah, that's how it works. You just flick the lights on and you flick them back off again. And you,
didn't they take the ring?
All responsibility. No insurance is impacted anymore. Yeah, that's it. Just turn them off, and we are going to turn it back on. I was surprised they turned it back on again. I just kind of thought we were going to have it in the dark. Didn't they used to do these lights out steel cage matches, like with the lights out? I feel like
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, but they didn't. They just turned it back on again.
Didn't they take the AEW like ring mat out, and then it was just a plain one, or am I tripping? I feel like it was
did.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
They did, and they turned off the screens at the side. Well, I mean, not that it would make a difference because that cage was so freaking
big,
huge. I mean, thank goodness it was, because there was so many of them. If it was a normal steel cage, it would have just been an absolute clusterfuck.
Yeah.
In there with all those guys, but yeah, they had this cage that went out, well, to the ramp, wasn't it? It literally went to the ramp. It went to the very edge of they whoever measured that cage up did an absolutely sterling job, because they utilized every single millimeter that they
could use. They used it.
Yeah.
I was like, imagine being in the front row and Darby just lands on you because someone pushes him. That's how close you are.
Yeah, it's like when you're at the zoo and you're like by the lion's cage, and you look at it, and then the lion just
like right there
jumps in.
I was like, oh, okay.
But they can't get you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we had Darby Allin, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Tanahashi on his farewell tour, and Will Ospreay up against the Death Riders. Obviously, Moxley, Claudio, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks. Let's talk about the Young Bucks for a minute, because this was actually quite funny. This tickled me. They came out before. Was it on the 0 hour that they went to the production desk, or was it actually on the main show? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember when it was, but I remember them going to the production desk and asking for their song.
So the Young Bucks go to the production desk before the show starts and said to the production, "No more messing around this time. We want our original music, and we don't want you to do this. You don't treat us like this," and blah 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 blah. And then they said after that, it said, "And then I want you to go around London, and I want you to find all the most violent weapons that you can possibly find. I want you to hide them under the ring." I was like, okay. So, of course, when it gets to the match and the Young Bucks come out, they come out to the very indie-looking pictures of them a little bit of their entrance song, which is then broken up, and then starts Bop, everyone's favorite tune by Hanson. In fact, the only tune by
Yes.
Hanson. Word is apparently they did used to use that as their entrance song at some point back in the glorious indie days. So, production man, he did his job. They asked for the original tune.
They got their original tune.
They certainly got one of their original tunes. But for those that weren't fully paying attention, there was a few people around me who were very, very confused when they reached under the ring and they went to get the bag of tricks that they had ordered from the production guy. And obviously, I was like, you know what? There's going to be something ridiculous in that bag, right? And of course, they empty the bag of tricks that the production guy has got for them, and it is, in fact, not thumbtacks. It is not even Lego, but it's what, Mirah?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Yeah, gummy bears.
Yeah,
gummy
so
bears.
So that's what I kind of liked about this match, because it had the right mix of, violence. It had the right mix of action. But we know a lot of people in this match are either injured or, in the case of Tanahashi, shouldn't be in the ring in the first place.
No.
Can barely walk. So I'm glad that they added a bit of comedy into it, a little bit like they do with the Stadium Stampede matches and things like that. They made it fun as well. And those gummy bears, they did that funny spot where they shoved the gummy bears into one of the Jacksons' mouths.
And they,
which one it was. And they, pooh. So that was great fun. But of course, this is AEW. We got some insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my favorite chants of the night was, Darby's dead. Darby's
I
dead.
didn't even hear that. I didn't hear
you
that.
Didn't hear that one?
No.
When they taped him to that chair, I was like, oh my God, what are they going to do? I thought he was going off the top of that cage, just like still sat in that chair. Thankfully, they did not do that. But they did pretty much as bad, to be fair. But we got an incredible moonsault from Ospreay.
Yes.
Off the top of the cage. We got an coffin drop through some tables for
Yes.
Darby Allin as well. We got the Golden Trigger, which everybody wanted. The Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, back together, which was awesome. Any other highlights of that match for you, Mirah? Anything else standing out?
When Tanahashi tried to climb the cage, they said, "Oh no,
Oh,
no,
God.
no."
Yes.
Talk about liability. They said
That
no,
was-
and that was when Will went up there, and I'm like, you shouldn't even be going up there. But I guess so. I guess we'll let it be.
No, you're right. That was so funny. Like, he's like, that guy can barely walk. Like, when he gets going, like when he did a couple of wrestling moves. Like, it's like it almost kind of clicks in. But when he can't walk normally. He certainly can't like run normally, but he can do like a wrestling move. But it's like he's got like one leg that's like about 4 inches shorter than the other. That's what he kind of looks like, and he probably has. But yeah, Tanahashi climbing that ladder, hilarious.
That was a good little like comedic spot. That was like a good little comedic serious spot. And you're like, yes, as a fan, you're like, yeah, good. But then you see Will go up there like, no, not you either. Like, why are we even trying to do this right now?
The better of the two options, but still the worst of the 10. But they did give Tanahashi the pin, which I love.
Yes,
so,
I like that.
So they gave him that. It's obviously Tanahashi's farewell tour. He's doing having his John Cena farewell tour at the moment.
Tour.
So it's his retirement tour. Absolute legend that he is. Glad that they gave him that moment. I thought that was pretty cool. After the match, though, the Death Riders lock the cage. Ospreay's locked in. Nobody can get him. Nobody can help him.
I was like, why are we still rolling? Because everyone was like already out of the ring. He was celebrating because we already kind of knew like he'll be written off or this is his last match for a while,
Yeah.
Especially from him talking that previous Wednesday. So you're like, all right, this is like his time. Like he's going to be out for a while. And then we looked to the left and we see someone opening the door and going ape shit on him. And you're like, oh my God, this is got from bad to worse.
Like, he's already waved his goodbyes, right? We
Right.
all know that he's going out after this. He's
Hmm.
made it very, very clear. Like his wife on the promo video, which was very cool, by the way,
I like that a
before
lot.
when he came out, everybody knew he was going to go and get surgery after that. They really wanted to put a full stop on this.
Honestly, I feel like he called for it. Like I feel like he wanted something like that too.
I
Like I'm
think he
like
probably
just
did.
thinking back at it, I'm like, I think he might have wanted this
I think you're right. I think you're right. And of course, it sets up an immediate feud.
once he
As soon
returns.
as soon, not that he needs a feud setting up. I mean,
He need to
he
go
can
home and rest. He need to sit in the
he
bed
he
and
does. He
rehab.
needs to go and have some
Oh,
family time and get that surgery
yes.
done and chill the fuck out for a bit. Get down
Yes.
to get down to Eve. Keep producing those shows and stay outside of the ring. But yeah, well, get well soon, pal. He is going to be a big miss, I feel, for
Hmm.
AEW.
Him and
But
Swerve. Him and
him and
Swerve.
him and Swerve, yeah, yeah, massive misses. But look, this is the opportunity. This is the time for somebody else to sort of step into those shoes. Let's hope they have someone planned to do so, or let's hope someone
I have a
organically does
few.
that.
I
And
have a
let's
few
not.
people in my head. I have a few
Yeah,
people in mind for that.
go on then. Tell me. Who do you think?
You got Kyle.
Well, you
You
got
could
Carl.
push.
Yeah.
You have Brody King.
Hmm.
Tag wise, you could try to push the Von Erichs because they just lost the 6-man tag. Like there's options for them to pursue, but the what comes to mind is Kyle right now. You
Yeah.
have Okada when he wants to work, or when he likes who he's working with. There's a lot of options. Daniel Garcia, if you want to turn him,
Yeah.
Wheeler, if you want to just get him separated from the the Death Rider somehow and have him go on his on his own. Hangman, if you want to keep pushing in. MJF, like there's options. It's just how do you keep building on the momentum and keep the audience from not feeling that loss. You still got Kenny, he can still go. Not as much like he's on a part-timer type of schedule, but like if you're putting him in big matches, okay, that'll keep the people's interest. So they have options there. It's just more so don't burn out your entire roster because you don't want that to happen like that.
No. No. And yeah, I do think they are going to rely on Kenny. I think this is Kenny's
Hmm.
sort of time to step up and take a bit of that spotlight that he's kind of shied away from for various reasons
Yeah,
in
health
recent years.
mainly.
But there's a big gap there now, and that moves us nicely on to Dynamite, which obviously you were
Yes,
there.
I
Um,
was there.
talk us through it. How was it? How 2300? We all know ECW Arena. We've seen
Yes,
NXT run shows there in the last couple of years. 2300. I
Drew.
love it there.
Yeah.
I was there when we were over in Philly at WrestleMania. I did the tour of the arena with Blue Meanie, which was absolutely awesome. And we saw the WrestleCon Super Show there as well. What an awesome place. What did it feel like having an AEW Dynamite show there?
So I really didn't know what to expect when I purchased tickets, how they had it set up on the map. It's just like, okay, like you know where the ring is going to be, you know where the typical cheers are at. You're like, all right, it's just going to be the typical show. But then hearing the numbers they're trying to fill it, you're like, how the hell is Tony going to do this? Well, once I got in there and I seen on the south side of the arena that they did like a risers to go
Yeah.
up to fit more people in, I said, I know exactly what he's trying to do. So he packed it out. The atmosphere was there. You had your ECW people that had been coming there for years that came there for their first AEW show, maybe people that follow it. I've seen a lot of like people that I've honestly see at every event at 2300 there. So that was good, but the first dynamite for them in that building, off the bottom, was amazing. You start off with Copeland, well, FTR coming out, and they're like, "You messed it up, Paul. Reverse the call, reverse the call." And you're like, "He not reversing that call. That's not how that works." And then you hear Adam's about, I was about to call him Edge, Adam's music. So you're like, holy shit, you're getting Adam Cohen in 2300 Arena. I did not expect that at all. So that was great. And then you just see Christian come under. and basically kill Stokely, and then it's just Cope, Christian, FTR just fighting, and it was just a good way to start
Yeah,
that show. I
yeah,
felt like it just
uh,
kept the audience like captivated from that point
yeah,
on.
yeah. They FTR came out to some serious noise as well.
Yes,
They got the Philly flavor thrown at
the
them
Philly
for sure.
welcome.
Absolutely, one
We
hundred
were like,
percent.
no hoes, you are bald. No hoes, you are bald. Like legit, that's what we kept saying. We said BALDIE, baldy, bald. Like that's what we were doing. We were just very, very rowdy.
Now, maybe they're just good actors, but they did make it look like they took it, especially Cash, looked
Yeah,
like he took it a little bit personally. Like especially with
yeah.
that one guy that kind of got in his face at the beginning.
The
I'm like,
FedEx
dude,
guy, the
yeah.
FedEx guy. Actually, there's stories about the FedEx guy because he was actually arguing with other people in the arena. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I know he was. I'm hoping he was joking with Cash, but when I seen him on TV, I'm like, you were just arguing with a fan, another fan, like in 15 minutes before the show started. So
Shit.
that was actually
Okay.
interesting to see there. But
Yeah, yeah.
Philly
And
people know how to act up.
oh yeah, no, they do, they do. And I did think like I thought I hope they're just acting well here because if they weren't expecting this coming into 2300, then.
Yeah,
But
that
I thought it
was.
was really funny when they thought that the microphone wasn't working, and the microphone was working absolutely fine. It was just that the crowd was booing so loud that they just couldn't hear themselves talking. So then he demands the microphone to be replaced, and they give him
Same thing
another
happens.
perfectly working fine microphone.
Mhm. I'm like, are
And
they
then
going to
he's
end
like,
up turning up the sound?
"Turn my fucking microphone!" I'm like,
It is
wow,
long.
is it really been that long since you got a reaction that you forgot what it sounds like to have a
Yeah,
crowd make some noise when you're talking FTR? Come on, guys, Jesus, there's nothing wrong with those microphones.
I was like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "We're loud. If he can't hear himself talk, we are loud."
Yeah,
I was very happy with that. Like, that was
yeah.
actually really good. Um, but from all that, we got the Adam Copeland and Christian Cage challenging FTR at All Out, which a lot of people was expecting. We were expecting it with titles, but this feud honestly doesn't need titles, honestly.
Agreed.
So I'm very excited to be watching that in the next few weeks. I want to see how they progress to keep it moving forward, but I have a feeling they may just do a lot of promos. It may be a little bit of fighting, but I think they want to keep them separate until All Out. I feel like there could be a stimulation to their tag match, but we'll see for sure. But next we had our opening match. Well, honestly, you could probably say Copeland and Cage and FTR was the opening match, but our opening match was John Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. And the crowd was very much behind Daniel Garcia. We really wanted him to beat Moxley, not gonna lie. And he had some times where it could have happened, but it's just like I guess his story right now is he has to take L after L after L and ultimately figure out what's next for Daniel Garcia because John Moxley did beat him. But I sniff there's a change coming for Daniel. And I think he needs that change in
I
order
hope
to
so.
progress.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and he needs something, doesn't he?
Yes.
Because he's not quite. He's got everything. He's a star in the making. Don't get me wrong, but he just needs to get that character clicking. Um, Not doing it as a babyface. Let's be honest.
Yes.
So he's gonna have to change something up, but he needs to do it on his own, and he needs
Hmm.
to not be affiliated with a group like he has been in the past when he's been a heel. He
No
needs to.
daddy magic, none of that stuff. He needs on his own.
Absolutely,
Um,
100%,
Whether he takes
100%.
time off and do the Kyle Fletcher way and just come back like a beast because
Yep.
he's very charismatic. People are gonna like him as a babyface or a heel, but he needs something right now that's gonna pop and get him to the next point in his career. It's like he's a lost puppy right now. Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He has it, but he's like that lost puppy, and I'm like I hate that for him because he's really really talented.
yeah.
Um,
And you're right.
but
You can see, and you can see in his eyes. He does look like a
mhm,
lost puppy sometimes, doesn't he?
yeah. Yeah, like he really looks like a lost puppy, and I hate to say that, but I'm like, Is it that he's acting so well that, this is it, or this is his reality and he's like, how can I get out of this? And I think it's almost there. It's almost there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be any time like before All Out or after All Out, but I hope so. And then Hook, after that, Hook comes
The
and
return
he
of Hook.
shocks. Yeah, he shocks everyone with the return. He got new music, still the same Hook. He needs a brush to his hair, but
Yeah. Still looks
he
12 years old.
he still looks like 12, 18 year old. But no, like he's another star in my opinion that they can rely, like they can all honestly rely on if they're used properly. He's more of a petite guy. So I know a lot of, promotions like the big guys, but Darby Allen, Hook, Daniel Garcia, like those guys can be
Orange
used.
Cassidy. Yeah.
Orange Cassidy. He was actually in the building last night,
Was he?
at the ROH show. Yes. But he came out at the end. I'm like, oh, so you were just in the back. You didn't want to come out, say hello to us. Oh, we see how it is. But no, but no, like you can build a men's division behind them. So like I feel like if Hook is used right in this return, it'll be good. Um, and then after that, you had the MJF promo promising to basically destroy Hangman, and when he does cash in his contract, he's going to basically murder Hangman Page. That's literally
So,
what he's
ju-
promising.
yeah. So just before that, we had the announcement that Tony Khan has now changed
Mhm.
added a stipulation to the contract that he now has to give
Yes.
7 days notice. Um, this to me very much sounded like WWE style booking, where suddenly magical things can happen with contracts after they're signed, and things can get changed and altered and also. I'm fairly sure that in that contract, because it's literally marketed as a contract that I guess has already been signed, that it says it can be cashed in at any time. So I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind this 7 day rule or why, but we have it now a 7 day rule. So
Right.
MJF
He
will
said
have
it
to.
at the Forbidden Door scrum. He was like, yeah, he didn't like how MJF basically tried to like finagle the rules and he got his contract out of it. So that's why he was like, I don't want to be like other companies where you can do a cash in when you want, essentially. I'm like, okay, I hear him trying to take that dig, but he's like, I want it to be a week notice because he's like, I want it to be able to be promoted. I want it, to be able to have it, talked about prior to the match happening. I'm like, okay, I see your point. But then I'm like, some people like the surprise, like cash in,
Yeah,
if you
I
want to
mean, it's
say.
not like the WWE formula of their Money in the Bank contract is exactly being like a failure, has it? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
proven concept that they started off like once and has now become
Yeah.
something that they have built into like their 6 months, at least 6 months worth of storytelling between the two of the women's and the men's divisions for
Exactly.
many years now. So I get they want to do something a little bit different. If they want to do something different, then why did you do it in the first place?
It wasn't a
Adding it,
briefcase.
well,
It wasn't
yeah,
a briefcase.
yeah. So if you want to do different, then well, you already have done it different. But this 7 day rule thing, I don't really get it. But I'm
I
sure
don't either.
we will see. We'll see why eventually.
Yeah. And then there was a Mark Briscoe promo basically saying he's going to get MJF. So I think that's the feud for MJF at the moment, just him and Briscoe. So I'm like, okay, I see it. It'll probably be an all out match or a couple matches at Religion or the Dynamite, something like that. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see this match on pay per view.
Good,
And then
good.
following that, you had Chris
More pay per views
Statlander.
for Mark Briscoe.
Yes,
I'm fully
yes.
fully. I want that man to earn enough pay per view money to get those teeth sorted, and once he's done that, he can go back to Ring of Honor.
I don't think he want to get the team sorted. I was on a flight with him going to London. I was on a flight coming back home. I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, you could get some veneers in, sir, but I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares. He's a country boy through and through. He got his family. He don't give a fuck about that. He just trying to make his money, be on his farm. Like Like I feel like
Which
that's
is
where he's
fine,
at with
but
it.
like I like to eat hamburgers as well, you know, and I find that might be hard.
I think it is hard. I think it is hard
Yeah.
for him, but I don't think he cares. Oh gosh. But next, after the two promos, it was Chris Statlander, Harley Cameron versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. As we said before, Megan Bayne, he is a star on the rise for AEW.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to see if they can do like a women's tag division. I don't really think they should. Like, obviously have them, but you don't need a belt for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, because seeing the track record with other companies in tag belts doesn't really mix with the women's division. I've- we can get into that part later, but they had an outstanding match. Chris Statlander, seeing her and Megan having a face off, I'm like, I paid to see this. This is what I paid to see. Like, I want to see Chris and Megan go at it. Like, I want them to have a good feud and just rock the arena. But Chris and Harley do get the win, and then they get beat down afterwards briefly. Willow comes out, and it's like this awkward tension between Willow and Chris, and they're trying to hug it out. And I'm like, okay, this still isn't resolved. What's going to happen? I really don't want Willow to go heel, and I don't think she will. I'm
Yeah.
thinking it's more like Chris is going to go heel, but there's that tension there as well. It's like the what if, and I think Tony's trying to figure out how they can get that translated on screen appropriately. So I'm very interested to see that. But Chris and Harley had a great showing. Harley got an amazing pop, so that was actually great to hear.
Yeah.
Um, Chris Statlander 10-10, Megan Bain 10-10, Penelope did well as like she had some great spots in the match as well. So that was a very enjoyable match. And then next we had the celebration of Mercedes Moné and her global domination.
Absolutely.
So they bring out, they set up the ring. I said, oh, we're about to have the celebration. She comes out. She actually got a good pop, better than I expected. Because I was talking to a lot of people there, and I'm like, it's either you're gonna really love Mercedes or you just don't like her at all. But everyone was chanting CEO. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this is a safe zone for me.
Hmm.
So that's how I felt. But her promo, I was expecting someone to interrupt her during
Yes.
her interview with Renee. But I feel like her next opponent is Alex Windsor, I believe. But I know she's back home with Will right now. So maybe within the next couple weeks, with them still at 2300, we'll get that face to face. But I think her
Yeah.
next opponent is Alex Windsor. Could even be Jamie Hayter, depending on how they want to play their cards.
Could
Because
be. Could be. But yeah, I feel there's definitely a singles Alex Windsor Monet
yeah,
match that we're gonna get because obviously we've seen them sort of feuding. We've seen them in the four way. You know, we can see where that's going.
hmm
I think whatever I don't see Alex Windsor winning, unfortunately. But
I know.
let's get that feud, mini
I
little
need it
feud, sort of
started.
blown off. Yeah,
Yeah.
start it properly and then blow it off. And then move on to the next. And yeah, I think you're right. She did get a good reaction. Mercedes
hmm
Monet, I guess, for people at 2300, they can believe that they were getting Mercedes Monet, and I think from Mercedes Monet, she can believe she was having to wrestle at the 2300. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, she
Now
didn't have
I'm
to wrestle,
waiting
did
to
she? So,
hear. Yeah, no, so I'm actually waiting to see if she's actually gonna have a match in Philly. I
yeah,
don't really expect her to. I expect her to have like talking wars and then she's gonna go back to her hotel and do whatever she does. Like obviously.
that would
Um,
not surprise me in the slightest. Yeah.
and then we had the Don Callis family versus Jet Speed and Brodito. So that was
Yes,
a
the all
banger
star,
match.
yeah, the all star tag match that was
Yeah.
put together cool. I like the look of that. It looked good on paper, and it
hmm
certainly delivered in the ring as well. That was great fun.
Yeah, that was
Um,
actually an amazing match to see. Seeing Josh Alexander take the win for the team with the best move in wrestling, the roll up. That was actually really good. I mean, I'd rather him have used this finisher, but you got to do what you got to do as a heel. So that was a good match to see as well. And seeing the chemistry of Brody and Bandino live was actually really like good to see. And obviously, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight have been at 2300. I've seen them plenty of times there, and I'm like, those dudes are awesome. But seeing Brody and Bandito, I'm like, oh yeah, these dudes have chemistry. Keep it going. Um, so that was very enjoyable to see live. And then next, our world champ comes out. Hangman basically explaining, his win and going on about MJF and like, hey, I'll be ready. I'm gonna shove this contract up your ass type of thing. Like he's like, I'm gonna beat you regardless type stuff. So that was really good. And then he gets attacked by the Don Callis family. I'm like, y'all was just out here. Are they okay? Right back out. I'm like, what are we doing? So it's like, okay, I guess the setup potentially was a member of the Don Callis family versus Hangman. But then you had Kenny Omega coming out because I didn't really expect to see Kenny in Philly either like that night. And then he saves Adam. And then you're like, oh, what are we brewing up here? Is this going to be an all out match? Is it going to be like another type of match? So that was actually really cool to see. And then I think following that, it was the trios match again. It was a championship match versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony.
Of course.
So that was a good match to see. Samoa Joe got like a welcome back, so that was actually like really good. He was like, okay. He was like okay, like he was really happy to see it. So that match had some spots in it. Ricochet just understands, like he gets it. So like him getting beat down and basically towards the end of the match and like losing, like he gets it. Like once the ops was out, he was just in the ring, and I'm like, oh, he gets it. Like he's selling like a motherfucker right now. Like he was just selling. Um, I like Ricochet. I know his character not everyone likes at the moment, but I'm like, I like what he's doing. Um,
I think he's doing a good job.
yeah.
I think he's took a lot of slack, especially and a lot of it was unwarranted.
Mhm.
When he went from WWE to AEW, saying, "No, this guy's got no character. You can't put him into stories and things like that." And he was a bit rough around the edges, but he has improved immensely,
Yes.
and created a character for himself. I don't know what it's doing, but he's got something at least.
Yes.
He's got something to start with, and that's his character himself. He's found himself at least.
Yeah.
And at the moment, obviously, he's hanging around with these Gates of Agony guys, but I'm sure that's just a bit of a stopgap before he goes back into a bit more of a sort of singles run. I was a bit surprised he didn't put the trios on these guys, to be honest, because they've
Yeah.
been sort of coming out
They,
and sort of beating down everybody recently, haven't they? And getting involved with all sorts of things and the Hurt Syndicate stuff. And so
mhm.
I was a bit surprised we didn't get the trios titles moved over here, but still not the time to take him off Joe, apparently. So
Yeah. And then in MVP, he comes through my section and hits Ricochet because there was a moment where I really thought they were going to defeat the ops, honestly. But once MVP hits him in the middle of the back and all of the members of the ops do their finishers, that was it. It was lights out. And then the Hurt Syndicate and the Gates of Agony are just fighting at the top of the ramp. It was hard to see because how they have the ramps set up currently, but that is what it is. But they were fighting at the top of the ramp, and it's like, okay, that's the next match for them. And I'm wondering if we're gonna get MVP in a match too, since it's 3 and 3. I mean, I would be happy with seeing him in action, just a little bit. I know he doesn't as
maybe that
much.
explains why it wasn't why he wasn't in London, because he
Yeah,
wasn't a Forbidden Door, was he? He didn't come out with that
I
syndicate.
don't
Everyone
think
was
he
a bit,
did come out.
and that
Mm-mm.
no, and that kind of set off the rumor mill a little bit about what has something gone on there. But
Yeah,
obviously we've got it back on TV, so if
yeah.
there was an issue, I mean, it looks like it's been sorted. So good for him.
And I like that. I like if there was any issues, I'm glad they're pivoting and just rolling with the flow because that's the webs of wrestling, honestly. So I'm just glad.
It could have been simply as a case of if MVP was there, but then would it have been easy to get the Hurt
Yeah,
Syndicate
that's
out
true
of the match,
too.
I suppose. Maybe something like that. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed a bit weird, but anyway, either way, seems like he's fine contractually. So yeah, and if we get a match out of him, hey, I'm all up for that.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Give me that. Give me that.
And then we have our main event, which was Darby Allin versus Claudio Castagnoli. and it was
Brutal.
Claudio's entrance. And he's starting from like basically outside, and then you look to your left, and Darby flies off one of the tractor things there. And you're like, didn't you fly enough on Sunday? You couldn't just do a regular entrance, huh? No, he couldn't do that. So they're fighting through the back. Darby goes through a TV. They bring him into like, then they come into the arena. They're still fighting like they just despise everything about each other. Darby climbs on the top of I'll say like one of the pillars. And then
Yeah.
he does a drop off. And I'm like, oh, your back's not messed up yet. Like he's still getting up. Like he's getting up fast. It's like spot after spot after spot. Claudio actually throws Darby into my section, like where the announcer table was at. So that impact, like he flew, like he just flopped off the table. And we're just like, you're dead. Like, are you okay? Like he's just like he's out of it. Claudio, he's a beast too. I want him to break away from the Death Rider so bad. But like he's a beast. He's a beast.
We need to, and the Death Riders needs to be just stopped.
Yeah, like they
Just put
like
an
they
end
need to
to
be
it. Just give up now.
stopped. But even when they lose, they still don't there's no like issues. So I don't know, but Darby wins doing his finisher. I want to say two times the drop to Claudio, and I'm like, okay, cool. That was actually really cool to see. That dude needs at least 3 weeks off. He does not need to be on TV no time soon. He's done enough for
He,
them the last what
he,
three
he will
events.
he will not be taking any time off. I wouldn't imagine.
He's
He's
not.
just had
He's
some
not.
time away. What was he saying the other day? I've just seen dead bodies in Everest and blah blah blah. Like
Hmm.
I don't know whether
Yeah,
it's
no,
true or
like
not, but
yeah,
he's freaking insane. And of
he's insane,
course,
dude.
this is all leading up to what we know is going to be a very climatic finish. We finally get Darby Allin against John Moxley. This is what it's all been building to. This has been
Hmm.
long-term storytelling from AEW. That's been going on for a long time. When are we going to get this payoff? Do you think, Mara?
I want to say I don't think it'll be sometime this year because I think it's gonna be Darby fighting each member. Like although he just beat Claudio, I feel like it'll be another match again, and then it'll be Gabe Kidd, then it'll be Willer. I feel like he's gonna have to keep going through all of them,
All of them.
before he
Yeah.
can even get the Moxley. The one is if it is anytime, it would probably be World's End, if it's the
Yeah.
end of the year.
That sounds right to
Um,
me. Yeah. Yeah.
if it's not this year, please, are we dragging this to All Out? Like, are we gonna drag this like, how
To all in at Wembley next
yeah,
year.
yeah, 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 like the All In. Like, are we gonna
But
do that or? I'm very
we'll
excited
see.
though. Like, I feel like AEW has a lot to work with. They have a lot of talent on ROH that they could honestly bring up. After seeing like the ROH pay per view last night, I was like, oh, we have some talent we could bring up if they're not actively already on Collision, the Dynamite, things like that. So I'm like, okay, Tony is in a good spot. I feel like they have a lot to work with. Dynamite this past Wednesday for the first time being at 2300, phenomenal. At the end, they did a tribute to Taz. They're actually going to be hanging up. He's going to go into the rafters of 2300 finally. So they'll probably do that tonight on Collision. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
live.
cool, cool.
Hmm. I was actually spotted in the video because this wasn't live. They didn't do this live for Taz after the Dynamite, but they have filmed basically Tony coming out, a lot of the roster coming out. His wife came out and basically was like, "Hey, like you did so much for wrestling. This arena means so much to you. Your name's going in the rafters." And he did not even like expect it to happen. He didn't know anything about it. He's to me, he seems like a very shy guy. He was like, I didn't really know what to expect. Like he's just like, thank you, thank you. And so I think that happens tonight. I don't know if that'll be live, but I'm hoping it is. I won't be there tonight, but I know it's going to be so good. I feel like he's glad that he's home.
Yeah.
And he's able to be in a place that he loves for this to happen. So, and seeing like his son come back, I feel like that also made him like very
Yeah.
happy as well. So,
Very
but
cool.
no, that was
Very
actually
cool.
a great way to end the first AEW, the Dynamite show. I'm hoping the next few weeks are also the same way. But no, that was a great show to kick off 2300. And also, they said that each merch for the week will be different. So this is like the current shirt, and then they have like a hoodie as
Nice.
well. But they said each week will have different merch. So that's actually pretty cool.
I cannot wait to see all the goodies that you get,
Yes.
Mira. Make sure you get really drunk so you make loads of very bad
I,
choices.
I need to get this
Um,
belt. I need to get this belt because I keep
which
looking at it every time I go.
which belt are you looking at? Which one is it?
Um, I want the TBS and I want the AEW Men's Championship, the version 2,
How much
but
is
they're
it
so
there?
expensive.
How much
So
is it?
the TBS belt is 600.
Yeah.
The AEW Men's Championship is 850.
You see, it was £850 as well, the Forbidden Door. So it's
Yeah.
cheaper in the US. You get
Okay.
$850 and we have to pay pounds. So it's, if it makes you feel any better, they wanted to charge us £850, which is
Okay.
what about
Isn't that like
$1,000?
dollars? Yeah, I
More
want
than
to say
that.
like,
More than that.
yeah, probably like 1100.
Yeah, so
So
you're paying
yeah.
like £650 for that. So it's a bargain.
I'm like, I may have to jump on it because I'm like, I haven't seen it any cheaper. I have not seen it any cheaper, and the only cheaper belt is like the version 1. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I could always get the version 1 and just call it a day and just
It
keep it.
it looks incredible. It looks like it's a serious
Yes.
belt, isn't it? Like it
Hmm.
looks beautiful. But yeah, £850. That's $850. That's like Mania Golden title money, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yes, that's yeah. Because I think the Mania title belts, like the exclusive ones, are like, oh, basically $1,000 or
900, I
850 or
think.
something. It's like
Yeah,
800 or something like that. But
yeah.
no.
I think $900.
But no,
So
AEW has a lot going for them right now. I'm very excited to see what happens the next few weeks, building to All Out.
100%. And speaking of AEW, we did get some news while we we're at Forbidden Door, especially if you are listening from the UK. Very exciting. AEW is coming to the UK in December to film Live Dynamite and Live Collision. So if you are in Cardiff on December 13th, they are filming Collision. And if you are in Manchester, which is where I am, on the 17th of December, we will be going to Dynamite. So, for anybody that doesn't know already, the Cardiff show is at their main arena, which I think is called Utility off the top of my head. I can't remember. Anyway, whatever the big arena is in Cardiff it's that one. Manchester, we have a couple of big arenas. It's going to be at the Co-op. Co-op is Europe's biggest indoor arena. So very interested to see what their plan is for that. I'll probably wait on tickets because there's no way they're going to sell that out. Hope they come down in price to get some really, really good seats. But the pre-sale for that for everybody, just to let you know, starts on Monday. 1st of September, Monday, pre-sale starts for your tickets for Collision in Cardiff and Dynamite in Manchester. So, thank you, Mira, for telling us all about your 2300 adventures, and thanks for chatting through AEW with me today.
Anytime. You know, I love AEW.
Yeah, no, our AEW fans are going to enjoy this episode, I'm sure. But for our WWE fans as well, and if you're both, like
Ooh,
myself and Miro, we got
yeah.
Clash in the Castle to look forward to this weekend. Tomorrow, Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time, which is a time that I like. That's 2 p.m. your time, Mira, I
Oh, okay.
believe.
I didn't know. I didn't know what time it
Yeah,
was
so
tomorrow.
you get a nice early start on Sunday. And we had a sixth match added last night on SmackDown, which is a tag title match. Interesting looking card. The tag title match is going to be the Street Profits versus the White Six.
Hmm.
So a sort of match that we kind of expected. I don't know whether this card is going to be a sleepy sort of classic or it's a kind of glorified Raw. Nothing is really sticking out to me that screams PLE or high level PLE. Maybe we'll be surprised. Guys, if you got any opinions on this, hop over to our Instagram at Pinfalls and Passports. We posted the card on there. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think. Also, please don't forget to subscribe or follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube, where we'll be uploading this video very shortly. And as I said, don't forget to follow us on Instagram for all the latest news from the world of wrestling and all your further podcast information at Pinfalls and Passports. I've been Daddy Dom. Mirah, thank you so much for joining me today for this AEW special. I hope you enjoy your shows next week as well.
And
And we will
thank you.
speak to you all soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.